Oh,
Should we start off the top by introducing ourselves?
no.
Wow.
You really want to make that a thing so hard. And I'm like, oh, I so don't. But you know what? Every now and again, we should give Cassie what she wants.
Yeah, no.
Every now and again.
I love the fact that we've gotten a lot of comments that like people love to feel like they're coming into our conversation. You know what I mean? And I kind of cut it to that now,
To
where
feel
I'm
that
like
way?
to feel that way, like you're coming into our conversation,
Like
to
you're
our friend group.
eavesdropping?
Yeah, or like
like
you're at
like
a
you're
party.
at a table.
You
near
walked in the
party?
room. We've all done that. You walk in the room and there's like a semicircle on the floor.
Right.
And people are talking and you're like, what are you guys talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
What are you
want to
talking
give people that. What are you guys talking about? Moment.
I love it.
What are you guys talking about? Which is why I started this past week. I had to cut like a bunch of stuff. Like our top was like a little wonky, but I was like, I got to keep the Harriet Tubman thing.
Oh my
I had
God.
to.
We talked
So
about
that's like
that.
a
Like,
started
honestly, I
it.
know we've talked about that before.
Have we?
I swear we
Oh,
did.
God, I don't know. You know what? I'm disappointed to say, and I know our listeners will be disappointed. I really meant to go like yesterday and go see Cats.
No.
And then I got so lazy. I
Oh my
like
God.
didn't leave. I've literally
I did
been
shit yesterday.
I have been held up in my house. That makes me sound like I've been kidnapped. I'm not kidnapped, but I've just been in my house like being the most domesticated person you've ever seen. I'm just baking bread. That's all I'm doing. I'm baking bread,
So
cooking,
much bread.
and crocheting. That is what I'm
Amazing.
doing. I'm sitting on the
you're
couch.
90 now.
Yeah, listening to a podcast and crocheting or reading. I'm rereading the Harry Potter book, so I'm just like that's been my life. So I was like, I'm going to actually like get dressed and put on makeup and go watch Cats by myself. And then I was just like, nope, I'd rather sit here and crochet.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I haven't done that yet, but our Facebook group is just so many Cats
I love it.
memes and conversations.
I love it
so
Send
much.
more cat memes.
I
yes.
want to kind of see Ian McClellan lick a plate.
Oh, so hard. I want to so badly.
Oh.
And you know, part of me is like, Keegan, is this a good use of your money? Like to go to the theater and see something that you know is going to be bad?
Yeah.
But I do feel like this movie is so epically bad that I want to be able to tell my children and grandchildren that I saw this disaster in the theater.
And it was
like,
that bad.
yeah. Because I
One
think
day-
it's going to be a cult classic.
Grandma Keegan, you saw Cats in a movie theater?
I sure did, young lady. That's right. Let me tell you all about the horror. When you're old enough to go to the midnight screening that whatever town you're in has yearly of Cats.
I wonder if it will
My
get
Grandma
like.
Kiki loves scary movies. She even saw Cats in the theater.
That's right.
I wonder if it's going to be like that cult status that like Rocky Horror is,
Yes.
where people do shit with the movie.
People are already doing things like that. That was my favorite. Somebody posted like videos and like comments and reviews that people were giving of Cats. And that's what makes me want to go see it, is just like people take this movie, they don't take it seriously in any way.
Right.
So everyone is singing along. People are
Like
dancing in the theater.
okay.
And I'm like, this
That
looks
makes me wanna go.
fun. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look fun.
Okay, now I
If
kinda
it's
wanna
like
go.
super bad and there's just people fucking off in the theater, I'm kind of down for
And
that.
I think that's
I'm
what it's
kinda down for
become, is
that.
it's just become this shared horrible experience that makes it fun at that point. You know what I mean? That it's fun.
Speaking of shared horrible experiences, I have something to share with you guys.
Oh, great.
Scared.
I know. I'm nervous.
This is an article that I came across yesterday that are the latest bizarre dating terms for 2020.
Okay.
Did we need this? Did we need more terms?
Wait, is this the one with the TikToking or whatever? And the
No.
okay, never mind.
When it comes to dating, we're all familiar with ghosting and breadcrumbing and benching, but these are a whole new set of dating terms for people to get their heads around for
don't
dating
want
in
to.
2020.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
You guys ready?
Prepare.
Glamboozling.
Oh.
Keegan, you'll like this one. This is when, most of us will dial up the glamour when it comes to a first date, whether it's a fresh haircut or even a new outfit. But if you get stood up, you've been glamboozled.
Ooh.
Yes.
You glammed up.
Yeah,
You've
and
been
makeup is
glamboozled.
expensive.
Ooh,
You just
I'm
made
sending
me.
I'm sending you a bill.
But yeah, exactly. I am sending you a bill. Like, have
Like
you
a
ever had
Venmo,
days?
like with a
Yes,
request.
just a lipstick tube is in the
Yeah.
in the comment.
Yeah.
Have you ever had days that you're like, today was a waste of makeup? I definitely have, where I've like put makeup on and then I'm like, that was unnecessary. I just used like my Lancome for this.
Exactly. We've also got flea bagging. This
I
is
don't know if I like this already.
exactly. It's in relation to the show Fleabag. It's basically it's a dating
Fucking
term
priest.
for anyone suffering the same fate as Phoebe Waller-Bridge, like consistently picking the wrong men. So I'm out here fleabagging. You know,
Yeah.
It's like,
Eee.
We've all been fleabagging before.
yeah.
We've all fleabagged.
this whole podcast is about that. Actually,
Yeah, let's just rename it. Fleabagging.
fleabagging. Caspering. It's when it's a friendly ghost.
Yeah.
You giving people a hint that you're going to ghost, like, oh, I've got a really busy week coming up, and then you just are like fade away but with a smile.
Friendly
ghost.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I like it. I like it.
You know what? I wouldn't even be mad.
Yeah,
I don't even think I would. Everybody knows. Okay, we've been texting long enough that we can understand the subtleties of, like, you know, and it's
I
also
got
just
a really busy week. It is.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and sometimes, listen, because I know I've said that before. Sometimes I do have a busy week. Like sometimes I am busy, but like we've said a million times, if somebody wants to make time for you, they will do it.
They will.
So if they're
Absolutely.
consistently like, maybe later, they don't want to hang out.
As
Exactly.
a freshly dating person, Christina,
Yes.
you can now see the difference between when somebody really, because even if Eric had a really busy week, he's still going to reach out to you.
Yeah,
He's gonna be
absolutely.
like, absolutely. He's going to take the time in any little break that he has because he's thinking about you,
Yeah.
even if he's busy.
Yeah.
And that says everything you need to know.
Yeah. It's really just, yeah, people definitely like show you how they feel.
100%.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
So
It isn't, honestly, it is not that confusing. When somebody likes you, you're not going to be confused.
yeah.
If you're confused, again, best piece of advice ever. If you're confused, they're probably not that into you.
They're either not that into you or they're playing games, both of which are not
Both
not
of them are
desirable.
goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah, there's also exoskeletoning.
That's too long. I'm
feel
already
like there's
not
a
on board.
better way to term this, but
Okay.
this is a good one. If you are approached by a partner's ex over social media, then you've been a victim of an exoskeleton. So I'm like,
I don't think that's ever happened to me.
So somebody else is like a friend of yours.
your
ex?
partner, your
No, your
partner's
partner's-
ex
Oh,
Yeah.
comes.
at you on social media.
Oh shit!
Like, have you ever
I guess
gotten that?
exoskeleton does make the most sense because that is some skeletons.
Yeah, skeletons. And
Yeah.
it's
An
ex-
exorcism.
Yeah, you need
Has
to get
that
an
ever
exorc-
happened to you guys? I don't think that's ever happened to me.
Exorcist.
A partner's ex? Yeah, yes, it has
Really?
happened to me.
Was it a warning? Now I'm curious.
No, it was more of a I like had tweeted something, and then like they liked the tweet, and I was like, who the fuck is this person? So
Oh,
then,
yeah.
then I figured out she'd like accidentally liked it because she had been going
But
through.
is that the same thing? Because that's like an accident rather than like I foresee it being like somebody contacted you on purpose to either
Right.
warn you, which would be the only reason I would do it is if like
Yeah.
if he was still hitting me up or something and I'd be like, girl, here's the receipts. Or like crazy ex-girlfriend coming at you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I know that shit happens
Yeah,
online.
dude, would you do that? Would you literally get involved if somebody was like hit you up? You would be like, hey girl, hey.
I think I would. I mean, granted, I've never been in the situation, so I don't know how I would react. And I think it is situational. I think it kind of depends on the situation. But if it was an ex and I knew he was in a new relationship and he was still hitting me up, like trying to hook up with me, I think I would. Yeah,
All
I think
right.
I would.
I'm trying to think. I'm so not a fan of confrontation.
Yeah.
Oh no,
And
I
I'm kind
hate
of like-
confrontation, but I would want to know.
I would want to know as well. But I'm like,
And I know 9 times out of 10, it blows up in your face. Like as
Yeah.
far as like the person is going to come at you.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
at least I did my look,
diligence.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
my due diligence, dude. I did what I was supposed to do. Like take that how you will. Like we don't need to be friends.
Yeah.
But now you have the information, and if you want to stay with this asshole, that's on you.
yeah,
Bye.
all you
Yeah.
use, Paul. That's between y'all.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's. But I want to watch because I also like drama.
Yeah,
like
I was
Keegan.
going to
I'm
say
like,
that I would block them right away, but I wouldn't. I would wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
And then if I started getting too much heat, then I would block them.
you want to see that go down.
Yeah.
Have
I'm
you ever
like,
seen a social media breakup?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, delicious.
Yum.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, air that dirty laundry.
Oh my God.
So,
It's so cringe when you
It
watch
is.
people just like
fight over social media
or just spill all the other
hate
person's
it.
shit. Like you're like, oh,
Fiercely private. I hate it.
There was a wedding shaming post or something where did you guys see that, where it was like the bride and groom and then she was like holding the veil or
And
whatever.
She's like, this bitch slept with my husband.
No.
Yes, the fucking comments and the screenshots and stuff. I was like, delicious.
Everyone's like, expose her.
delicious.
Drag her.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no,
Woo-wee.
that's and it was like, here's the situation. This is actually kind of interesting to talk about. Is that the bride and the husband were not together anymore, but this was the bride's best friend and maid of honor.
Oh.
No.
And so now the husband and the maid of honor are together.
Sorry, no.
We're all a no on that,
It's
even though
a
they were broken
hard
up.
no.
I'm like,
If she had died, maybe. If the bride had died, then I'd be like, oh, maybe they were finding comfort in each other because
Yeah.
they both loved her. But no, they broke up? Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
No.
it'd be like, honestly, like, like
yeah,
Chris and Cassie get divorced and then Chris and I start dating.
No.
That would
No.
not be.
it's not okay.
It's not okay.
Guess
I'm
what?
glad we're all
I
in
would like the
agreement on that.
whole world to know that my friend group better fucking clown ass these motherfuckers if that happened.
Oh my
Like,
God.
yeah.
Like I want everybody to be like, nah.
I think we all collectively would be. Like, if that were to happen, you're going to turn on those people, because you got to
Yeah.
stand with your friend because that's a horrible thing to do to your
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, I know they're exes and stuff like that, but it's just like, it's off limits.
Husband, that's your
It's off
ex-husband.
limits.
Like, oh no, because the betrayal, like, you know how hard a divorce is already,
Right.
and then
Amen.
like your friend
Dude.
doing that to you when you need
Ima-
support.
Imagine
You lose your
You're not-
best friend and your husband.
You're not with handyman at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What if Chris and I did divorce and I ended up dating handyman? Would you flip a god? Look at your
It would
face.
be weird.
I can't.
It would be weird.
You couldn't.
And that wouldn't
I
even
couldn't.
be as bad as
I
a
wouldn't.
marriage.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
know,
thing.
like-
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it even softer. Like that's not.
Yeah.
None of it's good.
Not okay.
yeah,
Not okay.
Don't. Yeah, it's.
was
there's
listening
so
to-
much like out there. The world is a giant fucking place full of billions of people.
So many.
I was
Get
listening to
different
a
dick.
Dateline where the woman died, and then her husband got together with her sister afterwards, and I was like,
Yeah,
I do. I feel like the world is so large. I'm like, I understand you guys have known each other for 20 years or whatever, and
Yeah.
like, so you do have a different kind of bond, but
that would always make me think if something like that happened. I'd be like,
how long
have
you wanted
been-
to do
Have
this?
you wanted to
Yeah.
do exactly? It fucks with you.
It would make you think like every like get together, every like every Christmas, every Thanksgiving.
So were you thinking of fucking her then?
Yeah, exactly.
Your ghost comes down and is like, oh, so
Oh, fucking really? Really?
cool.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
It's only my
God.
sister, Bill.
I remember when you hugged her that one time at Christmas.
It lingered a little too long. I thought it was weird, but I put it in the back of my mind. Turns out.
Turns out.
Curtains were moving in the house. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, and the other sisters were on the Dateline because like she was one of like fucking 9 siblings, and the other sisters were like, we don't talk to Cathy anymore, and I'm like, yeah, I bet.
Cathy.
We don't talk to Cathy.
Kathy sacrificed all of her siblings.
She's like, I got too
Dick
many anyway.
is not that good.
No, there's no way that Bill's dick is that good. Bill's like 65-year-old dick is not
No.
like
No.
crushing it well
It
enough.
No,
It ain't.
no,
It ain't.
no.
It ain't. Was Bill really rich?
No.
Nope.
No,
Ain't
no.
that good.
There you go.
I guarantee goddamn to it.
There you go.
I mean, he did just come into $400,000, but no, he still wasn't.
still.
Yeah, that's not enough.
No.
Oh, you're a
Can't-
thousandaire.
Oh my gosh. What else we got going on this week?
I think we need to have a real conversation about the woman who clogged her boyfriend's toilet, took a shit, clogged his toilet, and then panicked, put the shit in the cat's litter box. I'm guessing it was a situation where the litter box was in the bathroom.
Yes.
So she panicked, which, look, if you've ever clogged someone else's toilet, the panic is real. Like, I get it. But she panicked. She didn't know what to do, so she got the shit out of the toilet. She put it in the litter box. And then her boyfriend was like, did you shit in my litter box? And she's like, sorry. No, your cat shit in the litter box. Cat of course. It's cat shit.
It's very specific.
But that wasn't even the thing, because you could bury it in enough litter that you're like, maybe
it would clump and...
But his cat had been dead for a week. I missed that part. His cat had been dead for a week, so he knew that it wasn't the cat. That's why he knew it was her. He's like, there's shit in the litter box and my cat has been gone. So it's not the cat. And it comes in the form, it was a TikTok, and it was a voicemail. No. And the embarrassment and panic in this woman's voice, she's calling a friend to come pick her up. Oh my God. And she's like, I clogged his toilet, and so I put the shit in the cat box, but his cat has been dead for a week. Can you come pick me up?
Oh my God, that fucking hurts me.
It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
I hate it.
No, I mean, I had to take a 2 this morning.
Yeah.
Take a 2.
Let's take 2.
Let's take 2. I had coffee.
Yeah.
And
A hangover.
Eric's there and a hangover.
That's a definite
And I'm
shit.
like, and I'm like, can I hold it? And I'm like, can I hold it until I make it to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'll bleep that out because I had a meeting this morning. And I'm like, nope, this is happening soon. So I'm like, I have to go blow dry my hair right now.
And so turn the blow dryer on and set it on the counter. And you're like,
oh! He's like, wait, you have curly hair.
You come back out, your hair's still wet. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, no. And then, I have a candle in there and all that stuff. And it's like, fine. But I'm like,
but then people know, like, if you walk in and it smells like lavender, you're like, someone just took a shit.
Someone
here.
just took a
There's
shit.
no
Like
reason.
shitty lavender here. What has happened?
There's no reason.
yeah, no. I mean, listen, I know he poops. He knows I poop.
Yeah.
We do all the things. We both have bodies and stuff. But I'm just trying to keep it sexy as long
Keep
as
the
possible.
magic alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yeah. I'm a closed bathroom person.
100.
Really.
I've told you. Okay, I'm not going to say that on the podcast, actually. No.
I am totally a dude, and I apologize.
Yeah, I know.
to
You're
everyone I've ever dated, so.
Everyone's got their
Everyone's different. Some people
their
don't care.
boundaries. Yeah,
Yeah.
some people.
Some couples really don't care at all. I care. I
I think at the beginning of the relationship, everyone cares.
I still care.
I think
6 years in, I'm like,
early,
no.
early relationship. Yeah.
Barring
but-
any kind of emergency, like if I'm in the shower, if I'm like, figure something else out.
Yeah.
Or knock. Here's the other thing: if you really have to go or whatever, just knock and be like, I really have to pee.
Hey,
That's
pop
fine.
in real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, actually, the peeing is fine.
Peeing
Like, if
is
I'm in the
fine.
shower and you need to pee, not ideal.
I
but
don't
I'm
love
like,
it.
I don't love it, but I'm like, it's okay. If you have to take shit and I'm in the shower,
It better be a goddamn emergency.
it better be an emergency.
Yeah,
Because
but tell me and be like, I really have to
then
go.
I'll get out.
I will get out. I will accommodate
mid hair
you.
wash.
Yep.
And like dry off and stand wet and get back in the shower later because like I that's how much I don't want to be in the room when you're taking a shit.
Right. Also,
Yeah.
but it's also how much I understand emergencies. Do you know what I
Emergencies,
mean?
yeah.
Like I respect that.
Hey, shit happens, guys.
It does.
Sorry. It was low hanging fruit. I had to go
No,
there.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, can I tell you about this book I'm reading?
Yes.
Which is super fucking good.
What?
It is called My Lovely Wife.
my wife.
My wife. It's called My Lovely Wife, and I'm only like a quarter of the way through, and so far it is super fucking good, and it's
Oh.
giving me very much a Gone Girlish vibes of like
Ooh.
the descriptor says think Dexter if Dexter was a couple.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
interessante so far. So.
Oh yeah, speaking of Gone Girl, Patreon members, that's what we actually decided to do this month. So if you are a Patreon member for $5 or more a month, you get to listen to us review movies in the way that we do, which is meandering and often going off topic. And so it's a good time to tell you guys to sign up for that because it's worth it. And you also get a whole bunch of other extra goodies. We definitely appreciate those of you guys that do and that listen and love it. And if you do,
speaking of,
yes,
we have new Patreon
yes,
patrons.
yes, we got to shout them out.
Yeah, got to give them a shout out. So we have 2 new patrons. I believe one may be related to you.
Oh, really?
No, I
No?
looked. I don't think so.
Oh,
No, Amy Connor.
Amy Connor. So hi.
Hi,
Amy.
hi.
Thank you so much for joining our Patreon family. We are so excited to have you. And
Even if you're not related to Christina.
Yeah.
and
In fact,
actually, question mark, are you
yeah,
related to
maybe it's a cousin you didn't know you had.
I know.
And you actually are at the Patreon level where we will be sending you a T-shirt. So
Yeah.
that's exciting. Look for that coming up soon. And then also Michelle Tyree. Hey, thank you so much for joining our Patreon family.
Yeah. And what family is it? It's My Worst Date.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
Yes.
Now back to the convo.
Yeah.
Back to the combo.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
We did actually get a Patreon member
Actually,
suggested.
from Michelle.
Yeah.
It was from
Oh.
Michelle. So if you join Patreon, even at any level, your Fuck, Marry, Kill suggestions will be bumped to the top of our list if you have
Correct.
suggestions for us to do. And so Michelle sent us an email and she suggested that we do
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Wow, that was the weirdest way I could have possibly said that. But yes.
Saved by the
Saved by the Bell. So we were talking about it before we started recording, and we thought doing the guys might be too easy because we're gonna kill Screech,
Obviously.
right? Like
Yeah.
there's just
Fuck
no
Mario
way.
Lopez, and you're gonna maybe marry Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah,
It's all kind of whatever.
I mean, that's what I have to do. I mean, you're going to have to fix Zach Morris. He's a fixer-upper. His
Yes.
attitude, his smarmy asshole, like the things he thinks are funny, I'm like, okay.
No,
we're
but the other guy, what was his name?
Mario Lopez on the show?
Yeah.
Ace?
Something
Ace
like
or
that.
something like
Yeah,
that?
I feel like he went by Slater or something
Slater.
like that. Is that it?
AC Slater.
Yes. And
Yes.
it was either Zach Morris or Slater. You were one or the other. Growing up, I was Slater. I thought he was hotter even then.
Same.
But Jock, yeah, I don't know. And if we're going by the people, Mario Lopez is kind of a dick. Like he cheated on his wife. Like there's all kinds of
He's
stuff that I'm like, I don't know about that.
he just looks like he's just
It's all horrible.
it's
Those guys
Me?
across the board.
personally, I don't like to date guys that are in the bathroom getting ready longer than me.
Yeah. He's waxing his eyebrows, which nothing wrong with it.
It's nothing wrong with it. It's not for me, though. I personally want to be the one in the bathroom the longest.
Well, and in order to maintain that kind of muscle definition, like that man is working out way too much and making me
Constantly.
eat constant just grilled chicken.
Just plain
all
grilled
day.
chicken.
I don't even like
Plain
grilled
grilled
chicken that
chicken
much.
and broccoli. That's what you're having every meal.
That makes me sad.
So I don't want to do that. That sounds like no fun at all.
Yeah.
So we decided to do the girls instead.
Yeah.
So we've got Kelly Kapowski, which is Tiffani Amber Thiessen.
Yep.
We've got Lisa, which is what's her name? Lark, whatever her name is. Voorhees. Lark Voorhees. And we've got Jessie Spano, who is what's her face from Showgirls.
Yeah. Elizabeth Berkley.
Berkley, yeah.
Yes.
Good job.
Which I can't ever see her and not
Think
see
of Showgirls.
Showgirls.
She's a
Another
horrible actress.
Another
in that
so bad it's good movie.
Yeah.
Showgirls.
Somebody
So
suggested they were like, there was a post about redoing movies where you keep one actor and the rest are Muppets, and someone said
Oh my God,
Showgirls.
amazing.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
it would be perfect. That movie is
I want to see that movie.
that movie is one where you have to watch, like you should watch Showgirls like once a decade
Jason
just to be
Segel,
reminded
get
of
on it.
how bad it
Absolutely.
is. It's
Oh.
truly terrible. There are certain movies where you're like, how did this get made? Like, why?
Ooh, speaking
Also,
of, does
great
that
podcast.
does that podcast have an
Showgirls?
episode Showgirls?
I think they did.
I bet
do
it
Showgirls.
does. Yeah,
I'm
because it costs.
reading
I
that.
believe it costs quite a bit to make,
Yeah.
and like Gina
Oof.
Gershon's in it, and all this
I
shit.
love Gina Gershon,
And then,
but,
like, it's
oof.
Awful.
It
It's
is
truly
awful.
terrible.
Yeah.
Also, Striptease with Demi Moore. Not a good movie.
No.
There's so many movies that I'm just like,
And they
why did
came
this
out,
have
like,
to
back
happen?
to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't need to
Literally.
happen. But okay, so let's do those. So you've got I believe Lisa's like the smart one, right? She is the Ravenclaw of the bunch.
She is the Ravenclaw. Right?
Yes. And then you've got Jessie. She's also smart, but she's I haven't watched this in a long time.
The only thing I remember,
like the
She's the
cheerleader.
popular one. Yeah.
the only like thing that sticks in my mind is the speed episode,
Which is hilarious.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
Which is we were talking about this before we recorded. Why I don't do drugs. Yeah, I can't do.
She scared you from drugs.
No, I mean like it's not her. It's just that is my reaction to drugs, which is just like uppers, where it's just like everything, and anxiety. Yeah, and now I'm in an anxiety spiral.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm so glad that doesn't do that to me.
yeah, no.
I mean, not that I like just. Oh, thank God!
Because you're just doing rails and rails of cocaine. So much cocaine.
Thank God I can still do smack.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
smack is heroin, right?
I have no idea. I think
Yeah,
so.
I think it is.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm not a Saved by the Bell expert. I watched it kind of on and off as a kid, but I didn't really spend a lot of concentrated time watching the show. So I'll need a second to figure out what I would do. Okay.
I think I know too.
I am going to marry Kelly Kapowski because I still love Tiffani and Thiessen.
Okay.
And I think she's darling in a doll face.
What?
And my friend does her hair. So she's
What
super
was
sweet.
she in? She was in something.
She was
kind
also
of
in
recently.
90210. She had her own cooking show for a while. She does all kinds of stuff.
I like her.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And then IRL, super, super nice.
Nice.
So marrying her, I am going to fuck Jessie Spano,
Come on.
but on speed.
Yes.
Only if she's on speed.
Only that episode.
But she's going to go back and forth between like being really excited and crying through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
But that means I have to kill Lisa.
Yeah.
I really want to kill Lisa though. She seems sweet.
yeah.
Kind of like meh,
If we're doing the characters,
boring. And we're doing the characters.
Yeah, she is boring, and she seems like somebody would correct you. Actually,
you see, that's kind of how I feel about Jessie. But I don't remember well because I remember thinking that Jessie was kind of annoying.
but
I don't.
was. But Lisa was like the mom of the group, kind of like.
But see, that's who I'm going to marry because that
Lisa?
fucking responsible energy is
She
going.
grew up to be a
she
lawyer,
grew up.
a CEO.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I'm with you. I think I'm actually going to marry Lisa.
Yeah,
I'm going to marry her because I feel like she can carry me to
she's
glory.
got that lean in energy.
Yeah, she's got a Michelle Obama energy.
Yeah.
She really does. She's got a Michelle Obama energy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to marry her because
Yeah.
I think she'll take care of me.
And and I'm going to fuck Kelly Kapowski.
And I'm going to fuck Kelly Kapowski. That's what I'm going to do.
Cheerleader, super flexible.
Yeah. And actually, she seemed cool. I don't know
Yeah.
that I'd want to like marry her,
No.
but she had kind of like fun energy.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to be her friend, a friend
Yeah.
who I fool around with sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I want to do that. And then, I don't remember a lot, but I do remember
I feel like
thinking Jessie was
stuck up.
annoying. Yeah. But I couldn't, I have a hard time placing
Mm-hmm.
their personalities, but that's just my gut is telling me. So,
There we go.
yeah.
Well, thanks for the suggestion. That was good. Hey,
Yeah.
If you got more, keep them coming. We
Please,
love
please.
them. Yeah. What else we got going on? Anything? Should we just take 5 and come back with stories?
All right.
Sure. And we're back. Cassie has been trying to creep up on my line for the last 2 episodes. I don't like it.
2
Okay.
episodes. I think since we started this podcast.
Back up off my turf. Listen.
Well, I'm going to start us off today.
Yes.
With because I have the crazy in love and wow. I always get so excited.
Wow.
I get nervous the whole week before.
Yeah.
Like trying to come up with my notes and come up with a story and what am I going to do, all that
Right.
stuff. And then when I finally get it, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to tell you guys.
Oh,
Right meow.
exciting.
Yeah.
Our book reports.
Oh, it's totally a book report. Oh my God. Okay. So I got this story off of Reddit. I actually got this story off of Reddit a while ago, lost the story, and the person.
Is this the one you were hunting
yes.
for and you could
the
not
person
find it?
got it for me.
Yes.
They were like, here you go. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, person. All right. So a good friend of mine has the most incredible first date story.
Okay.
So my friend, he can't burp. Like legit cannot. It's a physical impossibility for him to burp. Shout out to our like Reddit thread, no burp.
How does that happen?
It's a real
So
thing.
it has to come out some way. So he double farts then, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he cannot burp. He finally gets up the courage to ask out a girl he's been crushing on for a while. She says yes. He's stoked. So they meet up on their date. Now, because he can't burp, all intestinal gases must leave through the only other orifice available.
Okay, I'm sorry. I need a TLC show on what this medical condition is. I need somebody to
There's a
explain
Reddit
it to
thread.
me because I don't understand.
There's a whole thread full
Yeah,
of people that
that's
can't
what I
burp.
said.
No burp.
He said, shout
Wow.
out Reddit, no burp. Yeah.
Wow.
So they start out by grabbing some quick food. He starts to feel a fart building up, but no way he's going to fart in the middle of a
I'm
first
sorry.
date with
Your
a beautiful
dates,
girl.
your dates don't involve consuming things. If this is your
Right.
if this is your disorder,
Yeah.
So he holds it in. They get their food, eat, and then they head out to a local theater and a movie. As the movie goes on, the need to fart is getting intense. He's just about to excuse himself to the bathroom to relieve the pressure when the girl, unaware of his discomfort, casually leans over and rests her head on his shoulder.
oh no,
No goddamn way he's getting up now. He makes it through the rest of the movie.
Oh,
After the
no.
movie, they're hungry again, so they hit up a pizza place. My friend still needs to fart something terrible, but the date is going really well, and he doesn't want to do anything
Go to
that
the
makes it seem awkward.
Bathroom.
That's not
So he
awkward.
keeps
Everyone
holding it
has
in.
just be like, I need to use the restroom. That's fine. Everyone does it.
Outside real quick. I'll be right back.
That's weird.
That's weird,
But
Cassie.
but just going to the
That's
yeah,
so
be like, oh, I have
normal.
to go to the bathroom. Really quick.
Everyone
and
does
then
it.
literally rip it up. Rip it up.
You hear it from the outside.
The building shakes. You're like, oh no.
It was an earthquake.
Finally, she's ready to go home. He walks her to her car. She takes his hand, and as they're walking, stop at her car and they talk some more. Then she leans in for a kiss. My friend is over the goddamn moon until. So here's the thing. As I said, my friend can't burp. He has to fart to relieve any intestinal pressure, but he's been holding in his fart for hours now. And one thing he has learned, even before this date, is that if he lets that pressure build up too much, well, it becomes unfortunate quickly. So he's kissing this girl, and then suddenly he gets a tickle in the back of his throat. He realizes too late that he should have farted at some point, because now
Yes.
he's going to vomit. He pushes the girl away, drops to his knees, and suddenly starts convulsively puking and farting. The girl is looking horrified. Between heaves, he looks up at her and says, "This is part where you go home." She drives off, finishes expelling everything, lays on the ground, feeling miserable for a while, then drives
Imagine this is a man in the fetal position in the parking
off.
lot.
After you just fart and puking.
Okay, literally, like you've just been making out.
He pushes
First
you
date,
away
he pushes you away and just start convulsively puking.
and farting.
How does that?
Lose my number.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Blocked.
I automatically think I'm like,
Yeah.
what did
what I do? But still, because
Yeah.
of that, I'm
I'm
like,
like,
oh, I'm so
so-
disgusting to you that
Yeah.
you had to vomit all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to see you again, ever.
I would not think that at all. And
That's
it might
what
be
I-
my narcissism.
It's
but
totally like,
You're like,
my,
it's definitely not me.
because what in the world would I have ever done to make you vomit? Like,
yeah.
you wouldn't have kissed me in the first place if I was that repulsive. I don't know.
Maybe
Sorry,
it's your
anyway.
breath.
Maybe it's your breath. All right. So
God.
he just ruined his chance with the girl. The next day, she calls him wanting to know if he's all right. He explains the whole I can't burp thing and the consequences of it from the night before. She's silent through the whole explanation, silent for a few seconds after he finishes talking, and then says, Jesus Christ, why didn't you just fart?
That's awesome.
They've now been married for something like 10 years and just had a kid. He tells the story way better than I do, but
Oh, that's
Amazing.
amazing. Oh, I see. I like a happy
I do
ending.
too.
But
I think
yeah,
it's hilarious.
just
Sorry.
making out with somebody and like
it's just gonna, look, vomiting's one thing, but vomiting and farting at the same time. I don't know why. I just literally imagine this guy on all fours just
sound effects.
Oh Lord.
Oh, I can't
hate
wait
it.
to
It's
hear
like,
it in
this
my
is where you
car.
leave.
But
Bye.
I don't understand just why hours? Like, it would have been totally normal for
Before
you to go to the
the
bathroom
bathroom.
in hours.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been fine. There was no opportunity to be like,
He was just having so much fun on his date. He's like, I'll let
I'll let it ride.
Let it ride.
Let it ride.
Hate it. Okay. So this was an email that we received through our website. And it says, "Hi, ladies. I'm a new listener to the show, and I love hearing all of these stories. I started to think about the year or so in my adult life that I was single, and I had a crazy amount of stories. But this one borders on, well, you'll see.
Oh, all right.
So I have always been a serial dater, always in a long-term relationship since like 17. But at 27, I broke up with the dad of my 3 kids and was about to explore what it was like to be a single woman. So I do what most people do and went on a dating site. I swiped and swiped and swiped, and there were not a lot of eligible fish in this sea. So I see a guy that isn't terrible looking, and he went to the same college as I did, so I thought, what the hell? So we texted for a bit, and he wanted to meet up one night. I was at the movies with my girlfriend, and we were going to go for drinks anyway, so I agreed and told him that my friend would also be there. I thought this was the safe way to do it anyways. It is.
There
Bring
you
a friend
go.
with you. That's fine. So we get to the bar, and we see this guy. It wasn't a catfish situation. He was okay looking. So we order a drink, vodka cranberry, thank you, and we started to talk. By we, I mean my friend and I. This guy was so crazy boring. I have never drank something so fast in my life. I then said that I had an early class and I had to go. You would think that would be the end. It wasn't, I assure you. I was the president of the student association of the college, and so I had office hours where students would come and talk to me. These hours are posted, and I always had an open door policy. Bob, not his name, I don't remember his name, showed up in the office just to hang out. It was so awkward. That's okay. You're not only coming to my school, you're coming to my job, where I can't turn you away because I have an open door policy. So he's just coming in, using up my time and sitting because he knows I can't leave.
Oh, that's the worst.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
When I had a next class, I took off, and thank God. That following Friday was my birthday, and we had a pub night that I was running. I would always go on the dance floor and say hi to students. I would make announcements, do draws, etc. Bob was there. Bob followed me everywhere. I thought Bob. Seriously, why are you so obsessed with me? I thought, it's cool. He's a student. He's having fun. Maybe he's a bit drunk. When I go home, there was a note on my windshield that said, "Happy birthday, beautiful," in a heart.
Yeah.
I thought it was the girl squad and thought nothing of it. So she thought it was her friends. Fast forward another 2 weeks, and my friends and I were at the pub having a drink and then decided to go to a bar. I was DD for the night, so I told them to hop in my car. Little did I know, Bob was sitting at a table behind me and followed us to my car and hopped in.
No.
Whoa.
Got in her car.
Dude, I
Weeks.
just got chills.
He's been following her for weeks.
I got chills. Is this you?
Yeah. Is it you?
Oh,
Joe Goldberg, is that you?
God.
Yes. I see you, Joe.
I really do see you, Joe, because he is actually the worst at following
the
people.
worst.
I don't understand how she doesn't see him. Anyway,
He's got a hat on.
he's got a hat, so it's fine.
He's
He's got a
invisible.
hat, and he's
He
right
puts the
behind
hat
a
on,
tree.
invisible.
Have you
So-
guys started watching
No.
season 2?
Not yet,
yet.
but I'm really ready to. I
Dude,
really
the
want to.
memes are
Fire. Yeah. So okay, he got in her car. I shit you not, this man jumped in my car. So rather than make a scene, we drive to the bar with him in the back seat.
Okay, I
Make
get.
a scene.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing.
You got your friends with
I
you.
get that, like, it's uncomfortable to like be like, hey, not that into you, kind of thing.
But 2 weeks he's been following you.
But
he
yeah.
followed you to a bar and got in your car.
I totally expect that. I've probably at this point told you guys
yeah.
like this motherfucker, and
Bob's
like I can't
outnumbered.
shake him. So if he hopped in the car or
Not-
whatever,
no, not-
one.
no.
If I couldn't say something, Cassie, you'd be like, "What the fuck is you doing here?"
Not on my fucking
Yeah, we're
watch.
gonna death proof
Not-
Girl Squad murder his ass. Get
Not
out of the
on
car
my watch.
immediately.
Yes.
So they drive to the bar with him in the back seat. He continued to drink, and I was just hanging out having some laughs. He walks up to me and says, "Did you get my note on your birthday, beautiful?" It was not from the Girl Squad. It was from him. 1, I don't know how he knew it was my birthday. 2, I don't know how he knew what my car looked like. And 3, just what the actual fuck.
Yes.
Joe.
Yeah. Joe Goldberg.
So
Wow.
they had one
Wow.
date, you guys.
Yeah.
One date. Well, not even a date one-on-one.
No.
Her friend was there. Like, he became this obsessed, and you know how I feel about obsession. It scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
He became this obsessed over one date that wasn't even one-on-one. Terrifying. So he was hitting on me all night, and I was so tired of it. I started to pretend I was in a relationship with my gay best friend. We ended up engaged with 10 children, a minivan, the whole shebang.
10 children.
Bob never went away. I changed my office hours and avoided him at all costs. I even had to have a friend tell him to leave me alone. Moral of the story, no more online dating. P.S. I am now in a happy relationship with an amazing man who doesn't show signs of being a stalker.
Yay.
You know what? Maybe send us his real name just in case anything happens.
Yeah, no
Honestly.
shit. Exactly.
That is like honest, like
I
that
hate
is so scary to me. One day, and you had to change your life, like to keep this guy away from
To
you. How
accommodate
scary
the
is that?
crazy. Oh my
That's so
God, I can't.
scary.
Oh, I know. That triggers your anxiety big time. Stalking. Yeah, it's scary.
Schwitzing right now.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Mine is a Reddit story that I've entitled. Well, I won't read the title. Okay. I met this dude on OkCupid. Note, I'm also a guy. He only had a couple of photos up, but he seemed cute. He lived near Union Square in New York City, and I had to buy some shit near there, so we made tentative plans for Saturday to meet up in front of the Barnes & Nobles. I texted him in the morning saying I would be there at noon, and if he could make it, he should meet me there. If not, no biggie. I had to do some shopping around there anyways. I got there and there was a guy milling around outside. The guy didn't look much like the photos. It seemed like they were taken when he was younger, or they were of someone that looked kind of like him.
Did you see the thing in our Facebook
Yes,
of the guy?
yes.
It said he was 23 and his photo had the World Trade Center behind him. It's like, sir. I was a child when the trade centers went down, and I'm not 23.
Exactly. Oh my God. It was strange, but it wasn't unheard of. We nodded at each other and shook hands and went for coffee. We chat for about 20 minutes, during which time he's asking me questions about my photography. I don't do photography, and a few other details that don't match my life. He had clearly gotten me mixed up with another OkCupid person he'd been talking to. Eventually, he gets a phone call and asks if I'd be cool with him taking the call outside. I told him it was no problem. Dude left and never came back.
Wow.
I went shopping. I was offended, but I also wasn't really interested in the guy that much, so I shrugged it off. On Monday, I get a text from him saying, "Sorry, I left my phone at my friend's apartment and couldn't get it back all weekend."
Huh?
I thought, huh?
Did he just go on a date with a random guy?
I responded, "You had your phone with you." He said, "No, it was at my friend's apartment." I said, "You took a phone call and left." He said, "I think you have me confused with someone else. We haven't met, man."
Oh, no.
Then came this flood of revelations like it was the end of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. 1. Lots of people meet up at Barnes & Nobles in Union Square for various reasons. And BTW, we never said our names to each other, just nodded and shook hands.
Oh, no.
2.
Oh, no.
He looked different from his photos, but enough like him that I went with it.
You're like, oh, no.
3. He thought I was a professional photographer. For all I know, he wasn't even there for a date. It could have been a business meeting.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I've also entertained the possibility that it was the guy I was supposed to meet using fake photos and such, but still, why do it? Why text me a couple days later?
Oh, no.
What would he have done if we did meet up after and it was the same person again? If it wasn't clear, I never did meet the actual person I messaged. We tried a couple of times and the timing was bad.
I feel like this guy and the guy from last week's story where he went on like a mystery date,
Yes.
like they need to get together and start like a detective agency
It's
or
a
something.
ghost.
Like, yeah, it's so weird.
Oh, my
He
God. That's so
says,
funny.
"I'm sure whoever I did meet has been telling this story to other people, how he was supposed to meet up with a photographer and somehow accidentally met me."
The phone call he had to make or was take was like probably the person he was supposed to be meeting. Like,
Right?
where the
He's
fuck are
just
you?
like, who the fuck have I been talking
Who is
to?
that guy inside? So then he's thinking that that's a serial killer, and he's like, "I'm just gonna nope out of this situation. Goodbye."
So funny to me. Oh my
that's
God.
so amazing.
He's just
Oh
like,
my God.
"So tell me about your photography."
He's like,
And all the while, you're like, "This fucking dude's an asshole. Like, he's got
Right.
me mixed up with somebody else. Like, how many people are you talking to?" Like,
Wow.
Oh, as somebody that's gone on like countless like online dates too, I like so related to that because I'm like, you are like talking to several people at the same time, and it's difficult. You're like, wait, is this the one with the sister, or is this
the one who was watching the moon?
I really want this podcast to become popular enough that we get people on the other side of these stories writing in.
Oh, I know.
And they're like, I was that guy at Barnes & Noble, and here's what happened. Here's how it went down. Yeah,
exactly.
Amazing. Oh, my God.
Oh,
Are you ready?
let's do it.
All right, here we go. So this story is about the lethal lovers, Gwendolyn Graham and Cathy Wood.
Oh my God, Cassie.
No.
I was going to do this one. I had like started my notes before I decided to do last week's.
You're kidding.
No, great.
Dude,
Perfect. I'm so excited.
good.
Wonderful.
So you'll have some input as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
Oh
stoked.
yeah, and
All
I've
right.
seen like there's like a gagillion specials.
So
on
good.
them. This is good.
I'm surprised because I actually only found I saw that there were a couple specials, and there was like one podcast or two podcasts that actually did it, and I was like, it was the one podcast was actually just a like a
Audio.
yep
book?
audio version of a show.
Oh, got
So
it.
it
I
was
feel like we just
weird,
played
yeah.
charades. Like
Yeah.
you were doing all kinds of
The touch
gesturing,
my
touching the ear. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Sounds like see where it's film.
I watched. There's a really terrible, like, what is it? Is it like Deadly Women or
Yes.
or
Killer
Lethal-
Couples.
Killer Couple?
Yes.
That's what I
Where
watched.
there's like so many reenactments, and you're like,
And the reenactments, because the women they chose are like obviously like actresses,
Right.
and these women are like not.
the
And the
worst.
women are-
No, the
No,
women
it's
are
so-
the reenactment women are much better
Oh.
looking.
Times 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did watch Killer Couples, the
Yeah.
Oxygen show, which is a spinoff apparently of Snapped. It's Snapped Killer Couples.
Dude,
It's the same
Snapped-
narrator, I feel
Snapped
like.
is fucking perfection.
Yeah.
I will binge Snapped. It's like my favorite thing. I snap in a nap.
I was gonna say, you know what I use Snapped for is to go to sleep.
Exactly.
Like, I put it on if
100%.
I'm like, you know what, I want something on, but I don't want something that I have to pay so much attention
Exactly.
to. Like I want to be able to fall asleep.
It's
And
Snapped.
Snapped is the go-to.
Snap in a nap.
That's what is that? It's not
This is
Netflix and
Saturday.
chill. It's Snaps in a Nap.
Yep. Snap. Mhm.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it. Oh my God, that's perfection. Anyway, that and of course, I got a lot of information as well from Wikipedia. So I'm going to start the story by telling you a little bit about these women. Cathy Wood grew up in the suburbs of Grand Rapids. She was born in March of 1962. Her parents were very super conservative household. Her father was had served in Vietnam and was an alcoholic. So she didn't grow up with like a lot of love in her house. Her
Not ideal.
not necessarily.
Yeah.
Neither of these women had a very ideal upbringing.
Yeah.
So her mother, who was super religious, and her home life again was described as not very loving. Cathy meets her first quote boyfriend, David, after 6 months of dating.
David?
Always.
Every time.
Yeah,
David.
David. After 6 months of dating David, her mom's like, you know what? I'm going to meet this guy. So when she goes over to pick up her daughter at David's house, her mom, his mom answers the door and she's like, oh, I'd love to meet David. And the mom's like, there is no David that lives here. I only have a daughter named Debbie.
Oh.
David was Debbie.
David.
And
was
how
Debbie.
old was she at this point?
She was like 16, 15. No, she was
Okay.
young. She was young.
Younger
It was
than that?
like her first relationship.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
13, 14.
Yeah, she was young. This is like the first person that she truly felt like a connection to. This person loved her, etc.
I'm surprised
So-
it took mom 6 months to want to meet that person. That my mom was on my ass about like
Yeah.
people like that whenever I was 13, 14.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to meet his mother
Immediately. Yeah.
Right. And when she discovers that David was actually a Debbie, Cathy's mother is mortified and said that if she ever saw Debbie again, she would put Cathy in a mental institution.
Jesus.
1970s.
1970s conservative Midwest.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is her first real like experience like dating, and it ends in this kind of horrible like imagine you're 13, 14 years old,
Traumatizing. Yeah.
You already are probably traumatized a little bit anyway, because you're coming to terms with your sexuality. And then for it to be so demonized at such an early age is I'm sure
the trauma from, I hear some of those stories, like it's unimaginable. And I can't fathom like having a child and then doing that kind of, you know what I mean?
Damage.
Like
having your love be so conditional.
Yes.
We do, with my other podcast, Your Angry Neighborhood Feminist, we've done 2 years in a row, and we will do again this year. We do a coming out episode where listeners write in their coming out stories about like how it was for them. And it is so interesting, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes not, because it runs the gamut of like sometimes your family is so much more accepting than you ever thought they would be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just as bad or worse than you thought it would be. And it's awful. It's heartbreaking.
It is. So yeah, I mean, and to have your mother not only just say, I'm not accepting of this, I'm so not accepting of this, I'm going to put you in a mental institution, because I believe that this is a mental problem. Like, wow.
Well,
what
and
a fucking statement.
and
honestly.
probably at that point in like the DSM, which is like the book that like defines mental disorders, I believe
sexuality was still
categorized.
70s.
So it's not an empty threat. She probably could have put her away. Yeah.
It's so wild to me. So at any rate, though, Cathy in 1979, at the age of 17, she meets this guy named Ken Wood. He's a local line worker. Their relationship blossoms very quickly, and Cathy becomes pregnant. Ken proposes, and they were married the following year. So Cathy at 17 is just like, looking for love in all the wrong places.
That's so young.
She just is looking for love.
She's just looking to get the fuck out. Of
Yeah.
her parents' place.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think at this time she's like, yeah, Ken, he's super nice to me. He's great to me. He's going to be a great guy.
And that's what I was going to say, right? As far as I remember, like, he was like a nice person.
Yes.
It wasn't like he was like shitty. It was just, so you see the first light at the end of the tunnel and you're like, I can get the fuck out. And this guy is nice to me.
Deuces. Right.
Yeah.
So Ken proved to, though, be a little bit like her father in the way that he did like alcohol. And he and Cathy became, it was tense in their relationship, and Cathy became restless and felt confined in their marriage. And she was feeling super claustrophobic and isolated at home. She's like trying to, raise a daughter and like not working or anything. So she decided to find work. And in 1985, found it at a nursing home as a nursing home assistant at Alpine Manor Nursing Home. At this nursing home, she was exposed to a new set of friends and coworkers, many of who were living openly as lesbians. And so this was like a whole new world for her, growing up kind of feeling demonized by the idea of being a lesbian, and now being surrounded by, a bunch of coworkers who were living their best lives as lesbians. She's like, this has been fucking fantastic.
And you have that support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you have a group of people who are like, you do you, allow you to be yourself.
So she decided, she's like, you know what? I am loving this life. So she was spending, nights out, hanging out with her friends at the local gay bars and hanging out with this new group of girlfriends. And she was loving life. Unfortunately, that didn't really go along well with having a home life with a husband
and a daughter.
And a daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, because I think in the thing I watched, they interviewed him, and you understand. It's just like, yeah, this isn't what you signed up for.
Right.
Yeah. And like, you had a daughter at home, and that's your wife. Of course you're a little like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But you also understand her, because you're like, this is the first time in her whole life that she's been able to kind of like
100%
be who she is.
Yeah.
It's so hard to see this and think that there's really anybody at fault in this portion of
Yes.
the
This part of
in
the
this
story.
part of the story.
Let's clarify.
We will get to the part where she's the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We'll get there.
We're trying to be nice, but it's like.
But Cathy also had her set her sights on someone specifically at her work. This is where we enter Gwendolyn Graham. Gwendolyn grew up in a farming town in Texas. She similarly came from a home with an alcoholic, abusive father. Her it was said in like a lot of the stories and some of her own testimony that she had said that her father didn't believed that if a child was held too long by its mother, it would grow up soft. They grew up in a farming community, so she was barely held at all from a very early age.
So she has all kinds of like attachment issues.
Oh, big time. Yeah,
And-
that will fuck with you.
Yeah.
Well, and they were like,
It'll kill you, actually.
Yeah.
You can kill a baby
By not
touching it. Yeah, exactly. And it will grow sick and die, which is the craziest thing to me. You can
that
give
wild?
it everything it needs, like food, water. And also, I don't know how they know that, which is really kind of scary and sad. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a fucking wild fact to me. And touch sickness is a thing too. Even as adults, if you live on your own long enough, like therapists sometimes will recommend you go and get massages.
oh yeah,
Because you actually like you get touch sick.
that is actually something I speak about a lot because I'm a hairdresser, and it's something I talk to a lot of other hairdressers about because I say, and it's very true. There's, people are always like, oh, why do people tell their hairdressers everything? Because we're possibly very many times in many people's lives, the only people that physically ever touch them. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Well, and
That's
there's
true.
an intimacy and a vulnerability that
there's
goes
a wall
along
that
with
comes down.
allowing somebody like I even
get that
feel
close.
sometimes like uncomfortable when I have to go like get my hair washed or something. Like it's nice, but I'm also like it's very vulnerable. You feel
is.
like you're in a vulnerable situation.
Which is why it breaks
Yeah.
down and immediately breaks down a wall between you and the person that you're touching. Because
Right.
when you are able to allow somebody to touch you, your wall comes down.
Yeah.
Right. And so, of course, we're always the first people to know that you're getting divorced, the first people to know that.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of stories that I've heard, the times that I had, a client come in and he was like, I had a client come in one time and was like, I just came back from the doctor's office and found out I have cancer again. And I don't know how I'm going to tell my husband. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Human connection and touch is so fucking important.
Yeah.
Well, that's why sex therapy is a thing. And like, people like laugh about having cuddle parties or whatever that is. But there's a reason why in this day and age, when we've become like so disconnected that we may need things like that seems so silly.
Right.
But it's just like, if you're not getting it, honestly, sex therapy and things like that, it's like, if you have a realization that like you're not getting something that you need somewhere, like you know that you need that. We're human beings. We need to be like, we need that kind of physical affection in some
Right.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need physical touch.
Yeah.
She did not get that.
There you go.
What she did get was an alcoholic, abusive father who also molested her, who also exposed her to very early to slaughter on the farm. And she was punished if she protested. Her father would literally hit them if they like squeamished away or they made a reaction. It's horrible.
It's horrible. I remember my great grandpa when I was on the ranch with him. He took us on his like rounds, and I will never forget. Like I was little, and we watched him like when you cut the horns off of a bull, and you like and brand them, and like we were there, and it was fucking awful. Like, and it lives with me. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Whoa. And he did not even try to put your head in the toilet and flush it several times.
no,
if
no.
you thought it was squeamish. So
What kind of parent gives their kid a swirly? Like,
This
what the
parent.
shit?
Yeah.
this parent.
Like, don't have kids.
Right.
You don't have to. No one's putting a fucking gun to your head, dude. It's obvious you didn't want them. If that's what you do, that's the other thing that I don't understand with like people get like dogs and chain them up outside and neglect them or beat them. I'm like,
Yeah,
don't
nobody
get a dog.
forced
Nobody
you to do
fucking
this.
forced you
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. I'm
it
like,
doesn't
do you
make
just
sense.
need if that's somebody that feels so fucking small that they need something smaller around to fucking abuse to make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a
it's
fucking
that,
piece
and
of
it's
shit.
it's also small town, farm town, Texas in the 70s, where like this is
I would
probably
like to say not all farm towns.
No,
small town
that's not what I'm saying, but I'm
1970s
saying-
Texas. But
Yeah.
no, not this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like.
Yeah.
It was probably expected for him to have kids. Like it was expected
sure,
for
sure,
you
sure,
to have
sure.
a family.
I see
Like
what
that
you're
was
saying.
kind of
Yeah.
like that was whether
what
you
you did.
wanted it or not. It's
Well,
like
and-
that's what you did.
And yes, birth control was around at the time, but it probably wasn't like a main staple of your life. So I'm sure people were accidentally having children
all
way
the
more
time.
than, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, I was watching Marriage Story, and they were talking about how like the concept of a good father didn't even exist until like 30 years ago. It was like
so true.
You were like a good dad if you just didn't leave. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, to him, he was probably like, I'm fine. Like, this is fine. I'm
You're
doing
welcome.
my responsibility.
Honestly, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm
Okay?
paying for your food. I'm letting you stay here.
You
What
have
do
a
you
house.
want? Yeah.
You have
yeah.
a house over your head.
Dude, I watched that movie.
Ain't
Oh,
raising
God.
those sissies.
Okay. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
All right. So, boo, boo, boo. By the time she was a teenager, she had started self-harming. Whoa. Talk about being triggered. Always just trigger warning for anybody that's listening to our Crazy in Loves. Nothing ever good is going to probably come out of this unless we give you a trigger warning that, hey, happy ending.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be. But this specifically, I was like, holy fucking shit. She was like, she had started self-harming and was like, had multiple cigarette burns and things all over her arm. And she said the reason why, when she was on the stand, I was like, she goes, was to make myself look ugly so that he would stop molesting me. And I was like, whoa.
Oftentimes when you watch like My 600-Pound Life or whatever, a lot of times, a lot of those people were sexually assaulted, and they will say, I ate, I tried to gain weight, I
Tried to make myself ugly.
and to put a boundary around you and that person. Like, if I could just I started not taking care of myself, not brushing my hair, not showering, not doing all these things to try and make myself as unattractive as possible, and to put a boundary around myself, put a wall up so that I could be safe.
God, isn't that fucking
That's
crazy?
So
heartbreaking.
sad.
So anyway, she starts self-harming as a way to cope with, all these things that are happening to her. Gwen followed one of her girlfriends, in fact, at, she's like, I'm fucking out. So in her early 20s, she follows this girlfriend to Grand Rapids to pursue work. Once she gets to Grand Rapids, she also finds work at the Aspen Manor nursing home. So this is when Cathy meets Gwen. They bond quickly over the loss of, over one of the patients that had been working there, and Gwen had grieved particularly hard for. She said she remembers seeing her very visibly upset. Gwen had gotten very upset over, like, it was the first time she'd seen one of her patients pass at the nursing home, and was very visibly upset. They kind of had met in like the bathroom, and she was like, oh, and they kind of bonded over that and talked about it. And
I don't like Fatal Attraction because of the reenactments, but I will say I've watched a lot of that show because it is an interesting idea of like, what if these two people had never met? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
right.
would this have ever happened? Because it's
Sure.
just like, it's like when they were explosive together, but she's so upset about a patient dying. Would
You're
she
talking
have
about
ever
Killer
done?
Couples, right?
Oh yeah. Is that it? Yeah. There's another
You said
show
Fatal
that's like,
Attraction, and I was thinking the movie, and I was like, what?
no,
movie
there's
did they-
another,
I see.
there's another
Yes.
one that's like Lethal Attractions or something
It's-
else.
I think you're right. It's
They're
like,
all similar, but
Yeah.
I watch them because the Killer Couples or whatever, because it is interesting to know, because here she is all sad about a patient dying.
Yeah.
You would
And now
wonder
that
if this
know the
person
story, right.
ever met this other person, if it would have gone this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and they both have similar shitty kind of stories. They grew up with parents who probably never really wanted them and treated them a little bit like shit. One probably way worse than the other, but
Right.
we're not comparing.
Yeah.
We're not comparing here. But they become fast friends and soon lovers. Within 3 months into their affair, Cathy asks Ken for a divorce, giving him complete custody of their daughter. And she's like, new life, new wife.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
She, her and Gwen breaks it off with her girlfriend that she moved there with, and they move in together. So they go
Full speed ahead.
That's fast. 3 months.
yeah,
Very fast.
the fast.
That's V fast.
Yes.
That gives me major anxiety. Like,
But you know what though? I think that if you're looking at it maybe from Cathy's perspective, who had not been living her best lesbian life, she'd been living her best repressed life. And she's like, I'm finally going to be able to live the life I've always dreamt of.
Totally.
Which is to, be with a woman. Maybe it's not too fast food for
And
her.
from Gwen's
true.
perspective, it's just like, maybe this wasn't the case, but it very much read to me that like this girlfriend, it was a way out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Her
like,
moving to Grand Rapids
right.
was
so
a way out.
So
Exactly.
maybe she wasn't really, her heart wasn't in that relationship anyway.
Yeah.
So she was just like, bye.
Yeah, she's like, yeah,
Later days.
whatever. Yeah. But Meanwhile, things at the Alpine Manor were getting a little strained. The home had an increase in deaths and had boosted the hours of the staff. So, I mean, these people were working overtime. The hours were high, and they were also...
It's a stressful job, too. I'm sure. Very hard, stressful. First of all, nurses do God's work. They
Amen.
are fucking angels.
For little credit and little money.
Exactly. So, and being like at a nursing home has got to be very stressful.
Right. A nursing home especially that has a lot of women, or not women, but a lot of patients who have, dementia, have Alzheimer's.
People
these
on
are things
hospice,
that are very
people
difficult.
who are going to die soon.
It's very emotional job.
And Cathy and Gwen start having some troubles at home. After a fight, Cathy had gone to Ken's and asked to spend the night away. They got into a really big fight. Things were getting stressful at home. And during this visit, she confessed to him that between the months of January and April in 1987, that she had helped Gwen kill and smother 5 patients at the manor by being her lookout. Ken is in shock, and not knowing whether to believe it or not, he kept this news to himself until Cathy later admitted that there was more. She confessed that Gwen was choosing her victims with the purpose. She wanted to spell murder out with the initials of the names of the victims.
I just don't understand how that started. I really don't.
Right. Or if it's even true. There's a lot of information on this story that it's like, what's true, what's bullshit. It's very wild.
Because I've tried to parse it out. I'm interested to see if you've got a theory on what you think happened. Because
and even the Wikipedia, because of what happens later, like when I was reading the Wikipedia article, even it's just like, we don't know how much stock to put in anything because most of it is coming from Cathy. Because she was the one who came forward first and was just like, so her story got told, right? So most of what we have is based on her word, and it's kind of like,
you trust it. Yeah.
How trustworthy can this be?
Yeah. And we will talk a little bit about that because we'll get a little bit of both sides of the story here.
Okay.
The point being, this is not an Angel Mercy story. Like this is the story of these women had a plan to specifically kill specific women based off of their names. So the first victim was Marguerite, one of their victims, simply because her name started with an M. Her family was actually very shocked by her death because they had seen her the day before and she had seemed very vibrant when they visited. So literally saw her the day before. All these deaths though can really just kind of have been chalked up they died in their sleep. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they're all old. They're all suffering from like I said, dementia or Alzheimer's or these things. And it's not honestly that obscure that somebody's having a good day and then they die the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, it happens. So to think that
that's what's so insidious. What's so diabolical about this entire situation is that they chose the most vulnerable population that they could.
Yeah. And also too, I'd read at the end of the day, there was 5 deaths and they did end up autopsying a couple of them and they still couldn't prove that they were murders.
Right. Because you just stop breathing.
It's hard. Yeah.
Right?
Especially if you're doing it with a pillow or what have you. It's like
a washcloth is what was said. So police reached out to the home, after Ken goes to the police and finally is like, hey, by the way, my wife told me this story. Police reached out to the home and they said, yes, there was an increase in deaths, but nothing suspicious. All these deaths were natural. They died in their sleep. These police decide to dig a bit deeper and notice that Marguerite was just the first in January, followed by Wanda Urbanski and Ruth Van Dyke. The first 3 victims are MUR. Though both women were no longer working there, they quickly tracked down Cathy. She was still living in Grand Rapids at the time, and she tells police it was a practical joke, and Ken was trying to get back at her for divorcing
What
him.
kind of weird practical joke is like, hey, LOL, I may have killed some people.
yeah.
Fun story. I'm going to get you.
Exactly.
Ugh. But police are, kind of like, okay, that's really weird. And they call her bluff by saying they found evidence. And they're like, we've actually found evidence of foul play here. And Cathy starts to sing like a bird. According to her, She was an unwilling participant. And now her story changed from it's a joke to, okay, it did happen, but I was just there. I didn't want to participate. I just happened upon this first death by accident. I just happened to come in. I was going to find Gwen. We were going to go have lunch or dinner that night. And she was in the act of killing Marguerite. She said that Gwen took a balloon as a trophy. She's got all these stories that she's telling them. I had actually listened to like I said, the podcast that was actually like a documentary, audio documentary. And I don't remember the name of it. I think it's just called Serial Killers. And they were saying that the police they were interviewing the police, and they said they went and there was none of these trophies that she spoke of, but that's when they found the letters, and that the acts when they were making this decision to do this, it was together, that these women had decided to make this pact, and it was a love pact. And so once she was caught, they decided that it was going to be a love pact, and that they had actually found this letter that Cathy had written Gwen. And after each murder, Gwen would take a trophy, and after the excitement, they would have sex. It was, and every death was part of this love pact. The letter itself had said, I will love you forever. And after each death, they would add an extra day. So I will love you forever and a day after the first one. I will love you forever and 2 days. And it ends in, Cathy, after each murder, it was said at the very end, I will love you forever in 5 days. So they killed 5 women or 5 people. So this story is fucking wild. And they do give her a polygraph because she's still kind of claiming that she's innocent at this point, and they polygraph her. The killer couples said that it came back inconclusive, but the police that were interviewed on the other thing had said that came up with that she had falsehoods, like that she was lying. And so they were like, there's something deeper here. This isn't all about Gwen just doing these and you're just the lookout. So they do track down Gwen though. And when they do track her down in Tyler, Texas, Gwen is working now at a local hospital for children in the children's ward. Totally not scary at all.
Yike.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Gwen said that these were all lies spread by a spurned lover, and that she honestly, her and Cathy's relationship was not even really that big of a deal to her. I mean, she'd been living like as a lesbian forever, and like to her this was just like another relationship.
Right.
She was like, this isn't as big a deal as she's making it out, and she's fucking weird, and she's just trying to get back at me. She's pissed off because I left with another coworker. So when they had broken up, this whole thing was supposed to be for them to be together forever in Cathy's mind. And Gwen's like, yeah, but no.
No thanks. Actually, 3 months wasn't enough time for me to get to know you well enough to know if I wanted to be with you forever. So I'm gonna bounce. Yeah.
And Gwen is also just saying, like, she's like, this is...
Yeah, because it's a crazy story.
This is crazy.
Because you're like, why? Why
would I do this?
Why would I do this?
Yeah.
Why? Like, literally, especially beginning the story by saying, like, oh, she was, like, upset about a patient dying. I'm like, who comes up with this idea of, like, a love pact, and that's why you start murdering people? It's fucking weird. It doesn't make any sense.
It is
How does
weird.
that come up?
And you already know
a letter from Cathy.
Yeah, and you already know you can't trust Cathy.
Right.
Right? Like, because you've already seen, like, she's lied to you already. So then you have to take into account, like, how much of what she's saying can you believe?
Yeah.
Like, what if she did it all on her own? What
if none of it happened? What if it's
That's
weird
exactly what I
coincidence?
Or that.
Well, and Gwen takes a polygraph test because she's like, this bitch is fucking crazy and she's lying, and I will take a polygraph, but it comes up inconclusive. So,
well, polygraphs are so fucking like,
P.S. You talk to my lawyer, and no, I'm not submitting to a polygraph. Two things you should always know. I will never take a polygraph test. Fuck that. And also,
always talk
up.
to my lawyer. Yeah, it doesn't matter how suspicious it looks. It's like, you're not a professional. Okay, you didn't go to school for this. I know, like, they want you to believe that's just like you need to talk to them because otherwise it's suspicious if you don't. But it's just like, you're not equipped for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I've seen way too many fucking documentaries. Like,
Confessions,
my ass,
whatever that show was. It was like all false confessions,
Yeah.
confession tapes. You're like, oh fuck, no.
No, thank you. I can't watch that. No.
Yeah,
lawyer.
because that's my biggest anxiety,
Same.
Cassie, is
I
like
told
going
you.
down.
Somebody not believing in you.
Yeah, someone not believing you, but like
And then
more
you-
specifically, like going down for a crime you didn't commit. Oh no,
No,
oh
thank you.
no.
I'm so nervous.
Dude,
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Prison seems terrible.
I hate it.
Yeah, no.
So this is the question are there even murders? There's such a lack of physical evidence because, it's only really Cathy saying that these are actual murders.
Right.
That this even is coming up in the first place.
Right.
And because there's a lack of fucking evidence, they only are pretty much relying on mostly Cathy's statement and she's pled out to conspiracy and will only serve 40 years. Heather, who is the new girlfriend of Gwen, though, does come forward and say that Gwen had confessed to her. I don't know how true that is. Again, I don't know what evidence anybody has. And at this point, Gwen is found guilty on all 5 counts of murder. Cathy has been denied parole every time that she has gone up for it, but is scheduled for release next year in 2021 in June.
But Gwen actually got like
Gwen is serving life in
life,
prison.
right? Yeah, like I knew that she had gotten like the harsher punishment because she didn't plead out,
Well, she
Yeah.
didn't get an opportunity to.
right? Because the
They
first person who talks is the one who gets to tell the story.
Yeah.
But again, there is absolutely no physical evidence that makes the
And it's
says that
a
they're just
crazy
murderous. So
fucking
it's
story.
wild.
It doesn't make any sense. It seems like it seems made up.
You don't think it's a real love pact that they were like going to fucking kill people? And then,
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, if it is a
weirder
love
things
pact,
have
don't you
happened,
think that-
but
well, no, I know, but I'm like, if it is a real love pact, don't you think Gwen would have been like, I probably should stick around?
Yeah, she would. Yeah, I mean,
I should
honestly,
probably get out of this relationship smoother.
you murder with somebody. Yeah.
but you might be so convinced that this person isn't going to take themselves down with you. It's why whenever married people have affairs, they do it with other married people because they're like, it's safer because they're not going to take me down with them. So
Right.
maybe she
there
was
you go.
like, she helped me with these murders, so I can dip because she's not going to tell on me because she'd have to tell on herself.
Yeah.
Right.
It
She underestimated.
It seems very casual though. For the way that she left, going into a
Sure.
new relationship, moving back to Texas. Like, I don't know. Like, it definitely makes me suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely makes me
Yeah,
suspicious.
I don't think we'll ever know, like, for sure what happened there.
Can you imagine if this woman is literally spending the rest of her life in prison
For
because
nothing.
I mean, or
if
I
she
mean,
is-
but if they did,
If it was a
It is-
Gone Girl situation.
Ooh, good plug. If she is spending the rest of her life in prison for nothing, I will say that she's had the saddest life of all time.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Literally.
Like,
Oh my
honestly,
God, top to bottom.
like top to bottom, just the worst. If they did do it, then they're
Fuck
the
'em.
worst people because
Right.
it's just like to go after
Helpless.
such vulnerable people is horrifying and super sad.
Yeah.
So, that's a good one.
Good
wild
one.
story, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well
Woo.
done.
And,
Oh,
and I didn't spend 3 hours on it.
no, but it's perfect. It was perfect. All right. What are we watching this week?
I am watching, and I think I texted you guys. We finished Castle finally,
Oh,
and we have moved on to Bosch.
oh yeah, I heard Bosch is
Nice.
great.
Holy!
I
if
heard
you've
it's great.
Not watched it. It is super fucking good.
All right, I'm super down.
Dude, it is so. I really love it, but I love crime procedural.
Oh, so do
kinda-
I love that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually reminds me a lot of some of the crime procedurals that I love, like the British ones.
Oh,
But it's
British?
not, it's American,
Perfect.
and I'm like, but it reminds me of that, like the tone of it.
they're always looking for background for Bosch. I see it all the time
Do it,
on my
girl.
like on
Yeah.
my casting notices. I started The Mandalorian,
oh yeah,
loving it. Baby Yoda, it is not overblown,
Not overrated.
It cannot be overstated how cute Baby Yoda is. So cute, like the cutest of all time. And then finally, and I'm so proud, I have gotten. It took 6 years of being in a relationship. But I have finally gotten Anthony to watch all of the Harry Potter movies. We watched all 8. All 8 of them in the last like 2 weeks.
And you're rereading the books.
And I am rereading the books. I just finished the first one. I'm starting the second one. And I know I had this conversation with you guys, but like, is there a thing? Like for me, I was so single-minded in getting Anthony to be a part of this like Harry Potter world because it was so like important to me. Like it was so nostalgic to me, and it's a fandom that I stand so hard that I was just like, I need you to love this thing with me. And like, is there a thing in like for you guys that it's like you need your partner to get on board with? You know,
it's really important for me and a partner to be smart. Intelligence is a big deal to me. I know we talked about deal breakers and I know where you're going with this. So I'm going to go the way of like in fandom as in a general, I love somebody who really understands sci-fi and is like, and I'm not saying you have to know everything. I'm not saying you have to have watched all the Star Treks ever made, but I really love
but you
somebody
want someone
who I
who's
can
going
talk
to
to
enjoy
about.
that with you. Like that's the thing is just like, or at least somebody who understands that it like means something to you. Like for Anthony's, it's like the alien, like aliens, all of that stuff.
Not for me.
If I were to be like, I actually really enjoyed that series, but like, even if I didn't, if I were to be like, no, fuck this is stupid, and like walk out of the room or something like that,
it feels very personal.
It would feel very personal.
It feels very personal.
Right. And so I would never have done that. Same with him, with like, if he was just like, this is stupid. Your love for Harry Potter is dumb. It would feel
like
personal
a attack.
Yeah. And I would hate it.
Mine's Sandman.
Of course. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't have to be your thing, but I want you to be in on this with me. I need you to be in on it with
Mine might be Marvel.
Yeah.
Like X-Men specifically.
Yeah.
Like if you were like, you're dumb for liking this, I'd be like, well,
I think our relationship is over, actually.
Yeah.
Be like,
Or just be like, it's not even like you're dumb for liking this. If someone's like, this is dumb, you know, and it just feels like something that is so precious to you. And it's like, well, then you're basically
what does that say
saying,
about me?
Yeah, I'm dumb for liking this. And so go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But
you know what's like, I'm not like huge into Star Wars. I am more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars, but I can still appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I can still like go to a Star Wars movie and be like, oh, I can appreciate this for what it is. I'm actually probably much nicer about it than quote unquote
fans, right?
Is on that because people are so like rah about it. And I would say that Chris, his 2 big things, Dune, which I tried to read, and the movie's not that great.
The movie's not great.
But I don't.
They're
think
remaking it.
I would never call Chris dumb for liking it.
No,
just something I never really totally got into.
But if for instance he wants to go see the remake with you, you'll go see it. Yeah. It's like because it's important to him, and
Blade
that
Runner?
means it's important to you.
Blade
you know,
Runner's
like
the other one, and I watched Blade Runner with him, and I've watched the remake or the
new one,
the director's cut, and the new one, and you know, it's not my bag, but
that's what you do in relationships.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'm still trying to figure out what Eric's fandom is. Mm-hmm. He likes movies and records.
Yeah, he seems big into records.
Big time into records. So that's cool. I love music. I talk music all day.
Is there a band that like if somebody was like, oh, like I hate Rush, but Chris loves Rush, and we can appreciate not listening to those things together? Is there like a deal breaker though for you? Like if he didn't like Radiohead,
band?
that would probably be like Beck or Radiohead. Like Chris, if he didn't like Beck or Radiohead, I'd be like, oh, that'd be really tough for me.
Yeah. Because I feel I have those crazy fucking ideas where that there's let's see how nerdy I can get. There's a theory of consciousness thing that people think that it's all vibration because everything in nature vibrates.
Sure.
And so the idea is that we're conscious because different things vibrate at the same frequency and start syncing up, which is the reason why like fireflies will flash in sync and stuff. So it's just I think that the Radiohead vibration or whatever it's vibrating on my frequency.
So
if you're not vibrating on my
hated it,
yeah,
you would be like, I think we're actually incompatible.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I mean, and it's true. It's true. It's just like there are certain things. Like I completely recognize that. Like, yes, Harry Potter is technically like a young adult novel or like whatever. Like the first ones, they feel like
So
kids'
good,
books or
though.
whatever. But
so good.
to me, because it's such a core part of like my childhood all the way up through my adulthood, because
Yeah.
the last movies came out whenever I was in my early 20s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It feels like it's part of your DNA
Right.
in a way.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
remember a time when Harry Potter wasn't part of your world.
yeah,
really.
you know what I mean? So and I think music is kind of the same thing. It's just like music helps you get through some of the worst things that ever happened to you.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so if
it's a
somebody were to
soundtrack
tell
to
you
my life,
yeah,
for
that
sure.
something that helped you survive something is stupid,
Yeah.
it would be like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I actually can't be with you.
And I think too, it's not like we're talking about things that are so obscure. Like I don't like jazz music. That is the big harsh thing for me on Bosch. I love that show, but he listens
So
to
much
jazz. Jazz gives me anxiety. It literally gives
Unpredictable,
me.
yeah.
I literally, Chris, last night, I'm like, feel how sweaty my hands are right now. He laughs at me because he likes jazz, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't. Like,
Yeah, you don't
it
have to
makes my
like
skin
all
itch.
of the same things.
But I don't expect him to like
Yes.
punk music. I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm,
Yeah.
got punk, I could see how punk could get on someone's nerves if it's not what you're into.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a punk girl. I like punk, and there's times when I will literally just put on a punk album and like I'm down for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, no anxiety with punk music. Jazz makes my skin
Interesting.
I literally feel like I'm getting red just talking.
You
about
kind
it.
of are a little bit. Like,
It makes me like skin itch. Like it
That's
just
so
sounds like a bunch of
interesting.
horns honking, and it makes me feel like bugs are crawling inside
that
my
is
head.
so strange and interesting.
But the key is, if you're in a good relationship, even if somebody may not love, and please don't date people that love exactly all the same things
Right.
as you, because
No,
it could
totally.
be more boring.
You want
But-
someone to widen your horizons.
but you want to respect.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like if you're with a good person, like I respect that I'm not into this thing, but they are, and give them space to explore it and encourage them to explore those things.
And if that
make them
person
different.
really wanted you to go and do something, you would.
I would
You know what
absolutely,
I mean?
and not say dick all about it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Chris wanted to take me to a Rush concert. I doubt he would want to take me. He would probably choose one of his guy friends to go with,
Yeah.
but I would go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know that I would go see it.
Right. Well, because you have a visceral physical reaction. That's different. And Chris should know that.
Dude, do you know
He
there's
does,
a
and he laughs at me.
fucking place called the Baked Potato here in LA
Yes.
that constantly does jazz, and they literally serve giant baked potatoes with all kinds of good shit
That
on
sounds
it,
like
Holy
your
shit,
dream.
That is your dream.
and they play jazz music, live jazz.
So Cassie's like, so you can go and have a baked potato. I will not be joining you. Sorry. Are you?
my keto started again.
Yeah, I can't have
I would
potatoes.
just love to, but
Have you been watching anything new?
I have been doing a lot of Snapped with a Nap. I
Oh,
did
good.
watch The Marriage Story.
Oh,
Fucking really good.
see,
It's intense.
thank you. I feel like I've had to defend this movie because people are like, "Oh, it's so boring," or like whatever, and I'm like, "It is." I guess could see how you could think that it was boring.
I've had that fight.
But it's because it's so real. That's why it feels a little boring.
it hits a little too close
Is
home.
because like I've had that fight, and
Yeah.
anyone and people make fun of it because I will admit when I was watching that fight, having been in film school, acting school, I can say like, yes, is that scene going to live in infamy in every single acting class from here to eternity?
Yes.
Yes, it will. But it's also real.
It's
like
real.
I've had that where you're
Where that fight where
screaming
you're
at each
screaming
other.
and you're screaming the most obscene, terrible things. You're just so angry you can't say something bad enough. Like you have
You're
to
trying to
You're
hurt
trying
somebody. Yeah.
your hardest to hurt someone so much, like without using your fists. You're just using your words, and it's wow, really intense. So
Yeah.
I did that on New Year's Day when I woke up
That sounds terrible.
hungover and
Happy New Year.
pissed off because I left my fucking phone in a
Oh,
lift,
girl.
and the Lyft driver would not contact me back.
Can we talk about that post that you posted? I was like, straight up, this could be anybody saying this, and that sounds like what a serial killer would write.
I
on
know.
your fucking Facebook
Yeah.
page.
So Christina made a post that was just like,
Happy-
happy 2020. I hope you didn't lose your phone in a lift like I did. And we're all like, blink twice if you're okay.
We need deep intel.
deep intel.
Yeah,
safety
Amy
check.
was putting up
Hashtag
like
safety
security
check.
questions, like checkpoints to see if it was really you.
Exactly.
And
No.
I was starting to get worried by the end of the day when
actually
you
was too.
still hadn't texted. I was like, I'm a little concerned that she
Well,
doesn't have
I
her
couldn't
phone.
get. I
And
couldn't
was
get
also
my phone
thinking,
back.
I was also thinking, well, Eric would know that you would have, because you've been talking about Watchmen and specifically episode 6 for a while. So I'm like, I don't even know if that's a good enough security question. Like in my mind, I'm like,
We should privately formulate some
some security
actual
questions.
emergency.
But
questions.
yeah, and because it was a holiday, the fucking phone insurance place wouldn't process, so I had to wait. I was without a phone until 5 p.m. the next day. The level of my fucking anxiety, it was triggered on everything. I called like everyone. It was a nightmare.
Yeah,
it was a nightmare.
it's strange how connected we are to our phones. Like not having them is like so. I mean, that's how my phone got cracked to shit. I was literally taking out the trash and wasn't like, I should leave my phone upstairs. I'm like, it must be glued to my side at all times.
I know.
and on any normal occasion, the night after a party, you'd be like, oh yeah, we all had fun. And then if you had a question about something, you'd text somebody. But to feel like you just left a wild party from the night before, and then you don't have a way to contact people, then your brain starts to do wild things. And it starts to play like every moment of every word you said, and then you're not able to talk to people. So then you're like, wait, did I say something that may have also triggered something else? And then, wait, I think that did I remember that this thing?
Snowballing. Snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
spiraling.
I was super drunk, and maybe that was annoying to some people. Was I such an annoying drunk?
Yeah, that's anxiety for you.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
God.
anxiety
and
for
then
you.
not having a phone is such a. I mean, you might as
You're
well
left
lit a match
alone with
to
your
that
thoughts.
bomb.
Yeah. And so then I watched Marriage Story.
Oh, which was
goody.
I was like,
But I am glad you liked it because it does. Thank
did.
you for validating me
Yeah.
because I was starting to be like, am I the weird one who
No,
liked
I
a movie
thought-
that wasn't good?
no, I thought it was good.
I heard a lot of people thought it was good.
I think
it's
hard.
It's polarizing
it's a hard
for people.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to watch it just because.
No, you're-
to me like it's not. I don't like that.
It also depends on what you like, and I actually really like
Drama.
those.
You like drama?
Well, yeah, and I love those kinds of like character studies of like what
you do.
people are like and what people are like in certain situations, and it's a good example of that. So yeah.
Yeah. But what else have I been watching? I think that's about it. I'm rereading The Sandman because I do that every year since I was 13. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm very excited that Netflix picked it up.
I think Anna Green
Yeah,
Gables might be my
exciting.
Sandman /
There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, the thing that I've done ever since I was like a wee.
That if anyone ever told you like that's stupid or shitty, you'd be like, I will fight you in the street.
You're like, do you remember that scene where Neil Patrick Harris dies? And you're like, just kidding.
I'm not gonna Gone Girl you.
Yeah. Well, if you guys have stuff we should watch, if you have stories, if you want to just reach out, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. We're eternally grateful for all of our listeners and for all of you who have taken the time to post something on our Facebook group.
The best.
The best. And we just love you. We just love you so much. So thanks for listening. Cheers.